Just saw the premiere last night of True Grit.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the best picture of the year.
Best picture of the year.
I think we need some politicians with True Grit.
Rob Taub is here. Rob is a political humorist, and his website is robtaub.com. How did you come up with that?
It was hard. I took a Fox News poll and people suggested that.
And at that point, won't President Obama be able to say, look, this did not, maybe it did not create the jobs that the Republicans promised that it would, or it didn't do what the Republicans promised that it would, and so he'll have an argument to let the tax cuts expire in 2 years from now?
Well, here's a problem. You know, I'm blaming all politicians. Have any of these guys ever read a budget or a balance sheet or had a job? It's all self-serving political interests, and it's about time that there's some real bipartisanship and they make something happen. I keep harking back to Clinton's presidency. It was effective in terms of the country prospering, and that should be the most important item on the table right now. Let's get some people some jobs and do something.
But what about, though, the hypocrisy on both sides, but as someone who leans to the left? The
Republicans are involved now. We're going to spend more money than Nancy Pelosi was. So the Republicans have an opportunity to make a deal with the president, and they're not doing it.
But to the Democrats, does this present an opportunity to Democrats to try to point some of these things out to voters?
Yes, it does. Are they going to do it? I don't know. I've really lost confidence in all politicians. Here's from the New York Times. They were talking about juvenile detention centers in New York City and in New York State and wasting $170 million a year on this. When you own a restaurant and you're not doing any business, you don't just say, let's double our prices. What our politicians are trying to do is raise everybody's taxes and not cut the pork. Mm-hmm. There are so many things to be cut in just egregious budgets, and that doesn't seem to be approached by either.
Today, we just heard from
by the numbers, interest accruing every day, and they're not doing it.
David and I are agreeing on a lot of things. I never hear a discussion with politicians about anything except taxes. But what about cutting the pork? Plus, they have this bill is like 2,000 plus pages long.
Another.
Now, who's going to read it? Nobody.
Well, this is General James Amos, who is against the repeal. He says, I don't want to lose any Marines to the distraction. He said, I don't want to have any Marines that I'm visiting at Bethesda, which is the National Naval Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. He says, I don't want to have any of the Marines I'm visiting there with no legs be the result of any type of distraction. So this is his excuse. This is his reasoning behind keeping that law in place. Now, a Pentagon study has been conducted in which we learned that the vast majority of those who were surveyed in this study really kind of feel that it's not going to be that big of a deal to have this law repealed and to allow gays and lesbians to serve openly in the military. And yet, if there's one group, according to this survey, that was against it, it's the Marines and the combat brigades in particular, who really just feel that this could be a real problem when you're in the heat of battle to have this, Rob, and you're smiling, be a distraction. So here's General Amos. What did you think, first of all, about his sort of talking about, I mean, he wasn't making an analogy, but he was saying that this is a real concern of his, that it could lead to a loss of life or limb if this repeal is
I think he should go
overturned.
to Bethesda and be treated for an inverted cerebellum. I think he's crazy. And there's an old Cole Porter line from the 1930s.
You're going to quote Cole Porter?
Yes.
Wow.
Picture Central Park without a sailor. Picture Mr. Lord without Mr. Taylor. There have been gays in the military for years, forever. They've been battling side by side with straight people, and we've been successful at it. And I think that this guy should not be listened to. All right, I gave you Cole Porter for the gays. I'll give you.
Who you got?
Groucho Marx for the comics. Military music is to music what military justice is to justice. I think we're going to have gay Marines in the foxholes under fire saying, you know, look at me, I'm gay, let's discuss this issue. A Marine is a Marine, and if they got to the position that they're in, then they did it because they're good soldiers and good at what they do. And I don't think that they're going to be bringing their personal and political beliefs in. Why aren't we talking about women serving then? Why isn't there rampant sex on aircraft carriers? Maybe there is. Sears is
Exactly.
putting up a sign that says Sears, and by the way, strippers 3 blocks downtown.
Yeah,
It's their corporate identity. We live in a world of branding. These people in Seattle, maybe they've been advising Greece on their economy. I just don't think.
Yeah.
No doubt. The problem I see with Obama, and I voted for him, is he's acted, we used the word mandate a number of times before, he's acted as if he's had a sweeping mandate from 95% of the population to just roll out this health care reform. And we need reform, but we don't need it to the degree that they're pushing it.